Welcome to this deep dive. Today, we're digging into a collection of insights, all focused on spotting high-growth tech stocks for potentially 2025.
Right. And specifically within this really booming field of what's being called agentic AI.
Exactly. The sources we've looked at are definitely forward-looking, trying to pinpoint investment opportunities here.
Yeah. And our main source for this analysis is a piece from the Smart Investor titled Text Calle.
Okay.
And its core argument really is that agentic AI is one of those potentially transformative technologies. Thing like the early days of the internet, maybe e-commerce.
Right, something fundamentally game-changing.
Potentially, yes.
Yeah.
It's positioned for some pretty significant growth.
So our mission today, for you listening, is basically to pull out the most important information from this analysis. We want to help you understand the potential here, who the key players might be in this agentic AI landscape.
Yeah, without getting totally bogged down in market jargon.
Exactly. We're looking for actionable insights, things to think about. So let's jump in. What exactly is this agentic AI?
Good place to start. So, agentic AI, it goes beyond the digital assistants we kind of know, like Alexa or Siri.
Okay.
We're talking about AI that's capable of more autonomous decision-making. It can learn, it can plan, and crucially, it can act without constant human intervention.
So it's not just answering questions, it's doing things,
Mhm.
identifying problems, maybe creating a plan and executing it.
Precisely. Think of systems that can really operate independently to achieve goals.
That sounds pretty huge. You can see why the source draws that parallel to Amazon and e-commerce. It's not just incremental improvement.
No, it feels like a potential paradigm shift for a lot of industries.
Which ones are looking most likely to be transformed based on this analysis?
Well, the potential is really broad.
Hmm.
Enterprise management, industrial automation, logistics, healthcare, you name it.
So AI agents optimizing supply chains or maybe personalizing medical treatments on the fly?
Exactly. Or even managing energy grids autonomously. The possibilities are quite vast. And the market growth forecasts, well, they reflect that.
Yeah, the source threw out some really big numbers. Can you remind us of the scale we're talking about?
Sure. The agentic AI market was estimated around, what, $6.2 billion in 2023?
Okay, not tiny, but
Right. But the projection is for it to potentially explode to $420 billion by 2030.
wow. Okay, that's quite a jump.
It implies an annual growth rate of about 52%, which is, staggering. It really shows the excitement and the massive expectations building up.
With growth like that, the obvious question is about timing. Does the analysis suggest now is the critical moment to invest?
It definitely leans that way, yeah. The idea is we might be at an inflection point.
Uh-huh.
The text points to this trend of businesses rapidly integrating AI. It even gives examples like Amazon and Shopify, potentially, slowing hiring for tasks AI could handle.
Right, suggesting that adoption is really picking up speed.
That seems to be the signal, yes.
But it's crucial not to just jump in blindly, right? This isn't necessarily a rising tide that lifts all boats situation.
Exactly. The author explicitly warns against that mentality. They use the dot-com bubble analogy.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, loads of companies popped up back then, fueled by excitement, but many just vanished. No solid business model, no real value.
So careful selection is absolutely key here for investors looking at agentic AI.
Absolutely critical.
And central to all this buzz, one name keeps cropping up in the analysis: Nvidia.
Mm.
What's their role in this agentic AI revolution? How are they positioned?
Nvidia is really seen as a key enabler, maybe even the key enabler right now. Their GPUs, their graphics processing units,
Yeah, essential for AI training.
essential for the massive computing power these advanced AI models demand. But it's more than just the chips.
Okay.
They're also building out platforms, software tools, things that make it easier to actually create and deploy these agentic AI applications.
So they're providing the picks and shovels, so to speak.
Kind of, yeah. Plus, they're strategically collaborating with a lot of promising companies in this space. That makes them unavoidable, really. They're building the technological foundation.
Okay, that makes sense. So the source highlights 5 specific stocks backed by Nvidia in some way that are worth watching. Let's go through them. First up, ServiceNow, ticker NAW.
Right, ServiceNow. Their focus is on AI solutions for managing enterprise operations. IT workflows, customer service management, that kind of thing.
And what makes them stand out according to the analysis?
But key detail is their customer growth, specifically large customers. Apparently up 30% over the last 2 years.
That's pretty strong. Suggests adoption by major players.
It does. And they have a strong partnership with Nvidia. specifically aimed at boosting the AI capabilities within their services.
And there was a target valuation mentioned.
Yeah, the text mentioned a potential target of $1,100 per share by 2025. Now, that's just one analysis, but it suggests significant growth potential if they hit their marks.
Okay, second on the list. Oracle, ticker ORCL, a real tech giant, obviously. How do they fit into agentic AI?
Well, Oracle is a huge enterprise software player, and they're integrating AI pretty heavily.
Are they? How so?
Through their Nvidia partnership, they've apparently embedded over 160 AI tools into their software suite and cloud services.
Okay, that's quite a bit.
And the analysis suggests Oracle might actually be undervalued currently. They're expecting, I think, 14% growth next year. So established player, big reach, pushing AI, one to watch.
Got it. Third company, Cadence Design Systems. CDNS, what's their angle?
Cadence is all about electronic chip design. They're a leader in automating that process, electronic design automation, or EDA, and they're using AI to make it faster and better.
How does Nvidia fit in there?
A key point is speed. Using Nvidia's latest Blackwell architecture, Cadence can apparently run design simulations up to 10 times faster.
10 times? That's a huge leap in efficiency for chip design.
It really is. Now, the source notes their valuation is already quite high.
Okay, so maybe less upside.
Potentially less explosive upside compared to some others, but their role is so fundamental designing the very chips AI runs on that they remain relevant for long-term growth in the sector. That speed advantage is significant.
Makes sense. All right, fourth one, CrowdStrike Holdings, CRWD. That's cybersecurity, right?
Yes, a leader in cybersecurity.
Yeah.
And that market is massive, around $250 billion and growing fast.
Cyber threats aren't going away?
Definitely not. CrowdStrike has shown strong recurring revenue growth, about 27%. And their connection to agentic AI is interesting.
Oh, so.
They have their own AI, apparently called Charlotte. And this AI reportedly doubles threat detection speed while using 50% fewer computing resources.
So faster and more efficient threat hunting, that sounds like a solid competitive advantage.
Exactly. In a world of increasingly sophisticated attacks, that speed and efficiency is a really big deal.
Okay, so that's 4 specific NVIDIA-backed companies. But the source also mentions looking beyond these, right? At other startups and mid-cap companies.
Yeah, it does. The strategy suggested is basically to watch who the big tech players, Nvidia, but also Microsoft, Amazon, Google, are partnering with.
Following the smart money, in a way.
Kind of. If these giants are collaborating with smaller companies on agentic AI, it could be a sign of recognized expertise and growth potential. It's a way to maybe spot the next big thing earlier.
But how do you evaluate those emerging opportunities? It can't just be about partnerships.
No, definitely not. The analysis highlights 3 key things to look at.
Okay, what are they?
First, customer growth. Are they moving beyond pilot projects? Are they actually getting recurring sales and keeping customers? That's crucial.
Right, proof that the tech is actually valuable in the real world.
Second, look at the total addressable market, the TAM. How big is the potential pie they're going after? Even a small slice of a huge market can mean significant growth.
Makes sense. And the third?
Competitive advantages. What makes them special? Do they have unique data? Is their solution really hard to copy? Do they have some kind of proprietary tech or deep expertise?
So customer traction, market size, and unique edge.
Those are the key things to assess for these emerging players, according to the source.
So wrapping things up a bit, agentic AI clearly looks like a major technological wave.
Yeah, the potential seems enormous.
And for investors who identify the right companies early on?
The potential gains could be substantial, yes. And it's a big but. It's essential to be cautious. Like any tech revolution, there will be big winners, absolutely. But there will also inevitably be failures.
Right. Back to the dot-com analogy, and not every company makes it.
Exactly. So rigorous analysis, diversification,
Yeah.
that's really important here. Don't bet the farm on just one name.
Sound advice. Okay, we're about at the end of this deep dive.
So just to quickly recap, we've looked at what agentic AI is, its transformative potential, NVIDIA's central role.
Yeah, and those key criteria for evaluating potential investments, whether it's the big players or emerging startups.
Right. Customer growth, market size, competitive edge.
And to leave you with something to chew on, here's a thought. Given how fast AI is evolving, what other established industries, beyond maybe enterprise software and cybersecurity that we focus on today, could be completely reshaped by these agentic technologies in the coming years?
It's a good question. Manufacturing, logistics, education, healthcare, in even deeper ways.
Lots to think about. We definitely encourage you to Stay informed, think critically about this stuff as you look at the future of tech and investing.